Hey everybody, Josh RV Nerd here with Bish's RV in Coldwater, Michigan, my hometown store. Pardon me first and foremost if I'm a little foggier than normal. I'm just returning back to work from a week off with my family. And anybody else, like, you spend a little bit of time away from work and you come back, you're like,
oh crap, I forgot how to do my job.
anyway, I thought I'd shake the cobwebs out and start with something a little simple, a little more familiar, and kickstart my my kind of work career back off here. Associated with the starter class camper, like Goodyear Endurance tires. It has rear and side view camera prep. It's also taller inside and is just a massive shower. Now that big shower is cool in case you got to get in there and like you got a Labrador that gets into a fight with a skunk, or like if you need a shower chair. There's a bunch of other really good qualities. It's also got a couple hiccups and hangups. I've got a couple ideas for you along the way. Let me know what you think about this one as we go. And if you appreciate the good work that we're doing here, showing you the good with the bad, told you I'm foggy, I got to think about it. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get started and see what this one might offer you and your family. So I like to begin these videos with like a quick overview, and I call floor plan in a flash. Just like as a courtesy to you, before you spend 20 minutes watching me blather on, is it even close to being the right one for you? So if you're still here with us, either there's something interesting about this RV, or you're just here for the dad jokes, which... thank you. But because that's the majority of what I have to offer. I want to dive a little bit deeper though as we go here, and notice there's actually decent campsite window coverage. You've got a 1, 2, 3 window lineup right here, which while not phenomenal, while not amazing, while not massive, like if you're standing here at the sink, if you're sitting at the dinette, if you're anywhere in the living area, you can basically, you might have to do a little left-right head bob to kind of see, you know, exactly what's going on outside, but you can keep an eye on your campsite, which is a really handy thing, especially if you kind of do what I mentioned earlier, where like maybe first you get the kids fed so that they're not hangry, and then you actually take some time to sit down inside and get caffeinated and warm yourself up for the day's adventures. You know, if you hear the kids screaming bloody murder, you can find out if Billy hit Sandy with a Tonka truck or whatever. Although, they're plastic now, and plastic can still hurt, but they're not the sharp metal, like, give you tetanus Tonka trucks that they used to be. And I'm not like one of these people like, well, my generation grew up drinking out of garden hoses. Yeah, we did, and that probably explains half of my drain bramage, or whatever. Anyway, couple details. Wide open side stands on this one is awful nice so that you don't feel like you're claustrophobic in here. I will tell you, something you might want to do is like get something foam though. Little pro tip from your Uncle Josh. If you roll over a lot at night, you might catch yourself on that corner, or if you like, depending on how you sit up to get out of bed, you might claw yourself up there. Now, the one we're looking at today has no solar, but all of these are factory solar prepped to a little bit of a degree. So up on the roof, there's a roof solar prep plug, and some wiring runs down here to where you can put a charge controller. J-Flight is also still one of the few still putting a portable plug up on the tongue if you want to get one of those light-duty little panels. Now, I also like to share with you the good with the bad. And one of the things with this floor plan that's going to be an instant deal breaker, no-go for a lot of folks, is that is a short Camp Queen. Kind of a bummer for a lot of folks, but it is what it is. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to fail to talk about it just because it isn't flowery and rosy. What is nice, though, is they did at least give us a privacy curtain here, which very few brands making trailers like this ever seem to do. Now, there's also storage below the dinette. That dinette can fold down into a little sleeper. And that's one of the cool things about this camper, especially like if you're upgrading from a pop-up or something. If you're trying to give multiple people their own individual sleeping area, obviously your front bed, I think, can sleep two. If you're a long-legged adult like me, your toes are going to hang off the end, and Ted, Ned, and Fred, the bed goblin union, are going to try to rip flesh from bone at night when you're doing that. So make sure you keep your feet covered with the sheets. That is the one thing that is proven to keep them at bay. Notice, if you look down, you have all the toes on your feet because you've done the job. Good job. But, there's a surprising amount of storage in this one. And that's one of the very interesting qualities of a no-slide RV. No slides, weirdly, have more space for storage many times. I know that sounds very backwards and counterintuitive, but when the wall doesn't have to move, when you don't have to have a slide out flange circling all the way around that slide out, you get to use the whole wall for storage. So it kind of works out. Now, we are looking at the modern farmhouse decor today. And the decor in this one only changes the kitchen cabinetry that we're looking at right here. So when it's farmhouse, this portion will be white. When it's cottage, that will be brown. Everything else in the RV will be exactly the same. I do like that wastebasket space down there and the full ball-bearing drawer glides. This is also pocket-screwed cabinetry, not stapled cabinet styles. A lot of people like that little aspect. What I like about this one is, despite being a smaller, frankly, I think for a tandem axle, lighter option at a maximum of 5,600 pounds, I think about 4,500 pounds dry weight, it's still 6'9" inside and still has centralized air. So it's smaller, but it doesn't feel as cramped as it otherwise could, and it will stay cool evenly and more easily as compared to a non-central air unit. The thing is, every single thing I just discussed adds a couple dollars to the price tag. Jayco has never been known to be the budget option. It's kind of one of those things where if you're looking for something to maybe, fit you a little bit longer, they might be a good fit. Now, since the dinette is not in the slide, they were able to recess the little post receptacles there, which is cool. It means that they're not like a toe stubber. But personally, I would take the legs off that table and I'd put a new set of folding legs under the table and I'd make it a free floating table. That's just my 2 cents. That's something I would prefer to do there. Now, weaving our way around over here, this is the 12-volt DC compressor fridge. There is a gas-electric two-way fridge swaption, in case you're kind of curious there. And in case you're curious, this isn't one of my nerdisms. This is known to Jayco marketing as the Dangler, and it tells us our bunk capacities. And you can put a lot of junk in that bunk at a 600-pound rating, because they're 300 pounds per individual sleeping space. What's also nice is they give you individual privacy curtains for the upper and lower bunks. And another nice detail here is those rear-facing windows do both open for airflow. The bottom window is a fire escape window, so it tilts open. And that top window, the curtain's kind of in the way, but if I move up here a little bit more closely, you can see where it does have the little post in the middle where it slides. Now, up here, it's interesting. They give the upper bunk USB plugs, which is probably the more handy thing. They give the bottom bunk household outlets. But if you're park camping, you can always put a household to USB adapter on that and be good to go. Now, as the bathroom door magically opens, because I definitely didn't open it with my other hand off camera. Definitely not Charlie Babbitt. Yeah, get my underwear from Kmart. That's always, when I was a kid, I didn't understand the movie Rain Man, but I always heard, get my underwear from Kmart. Like, it always made me laugh. Because underwear, funny, I don't know. Anyway, they give you a lock for the bathroom door. Obviously, I don't do transitional material. They give you a lock for the bathroom door, so you can actually enjoy some private time here on the iPad on your own. And I do want to mention, today's video is featuring a J-Flight made out of their Indiana Midwestern production facility. J-Flight does have a little bit of an eastern-western regional difference. The J-Flights made in the Idaho facility actually do have a full cabinet instead of just a mirror on the wall. And frankly, I always like to ask people, like, as we watch this video, let me know your favorite thing and let me know the one thing you would change given the opportunity. And if I could, I would homogenize the Eastern and Western builds, and I would just make everything matched like the Western build. I like the extra little doodads and widgets and whiz bangs that it offers. But look at this shower. That is just absolutely, man. It's one of the biggest showers I've ever seen in this class. You know who else does really big showers and shockingly does amazing bathrooms? Is Tracer. Tracer is a brand where they do like the Tracer like light series. At a glance, you look at it and go, this is just kind of a plain box. But what they kind of do is they give you something that is laminated at roughly a stick and tin budget, a little bit above that, but pretty close, but with a couple really good smart features like that, like just a bang up bathroom. They do a good job up in there. Now, one other little note. This is not an RV for sitting down watching TV, which might be evident by the fact that this is our TV hookup right here. And it actually comes as like a little removable bracket, which we're going to see right about meow. But your television, should you choose to add it, could mount either indoors or outdoors, if we take a little bit of a riff off a, Mission Impossible kind of thing there. Now, as we back up here, first of all, making sure I'm not smashing into anything behind me, but secondly, look at the left side of your screen. Let's take a second look at the weights and measures on this one, and let's talk some towability factors here. Considering the length of this RV, and the fact that it's riding on an easier towing tandem axle platform, and the fact that it maxes out at, I think, like 5,600 pounds, not only do I think this very comfortably qualifies as half-ton towable, but frankly, even if you have a little bit of a larger class, like the largest class SUVs that have actually really good tow capacities, I think that this could be a good fit for something like that. So if you got a whole mess of kids, or if you just need that extra space, like the extra space, or like that big vehicle, because they ride nice, you don't necessarily have to like give up your daily driver and get a truck just to take your family camping, which is cool. You see how we do have a full pass-through with big baggage doors on both sides, which is nice. Something I mentioned at the beginning of our video. Let's talk some towing safety. So we are prepped and ready for rear and side view cameras, but on top of that, this also has Jayco's turn signal safety lighting system. They call it J Smart Lighting. I always want to say signals, markers, and reverse travel, but I think it means something else. But those words make sense to me, and that's what always stuck in my head. Basically, if you flip on your right-hand turn signal, that little marker light we looked at, and all the lights down this side of the RV are going to blink along with it so that other people know what you're doing, so that nobody has to guess. And just less of a chance of playing, crash 'em up derby while running down the road. Now, you might notice they are heavily tinting their windows here. And in this class and category, what a lot of people call starter class, you don't always see tinted windows. It's maybe about 50-50. Frankly, there's still some laminated RVs that don't do that. And you saw that 2+3 sticker there. There is no one of which I'm aware really matching, but certainly no one exceeding Jayco's warranty on this. They have a very industry exceptional warranty, especially in this class, with 2 years of coverage and 3 years of structural coverage. You're also looking at Goodyear Endurance radials right there, which is nice. A little bit better tires on here, including the spare. That's an interesting thing some manufacturers have done. Some manufacturers are saying, hey, we're using Goodyears, how about that? And they are on the ground. If they're including a spare, many of them are still not including a full Goodyear replacement. They're basically giving you kind of like the equivalent of a cheap car donut tire, where if you do have some sort of blowout or something like that, something punctures your tire going down the road, you technically could, get by, but not with the same kind of peace of mind and confidence. Apologies, I don't usually open a lot of storage in transit. Now, I got mixed emotions on this. So someone's going to naturally ask, can you get it without the camp kitchen? And no, this is just how they build it. That being said, all you got to do is remove a fridge and remove a little cabinet here, and bam, mum's the word, as they say across the pond, I do believe. But the fact is, it's an easy thing to work around. But if you don't want to do that, take a look at a Cherokee 22 CKSE, I believe it is. Again, I'm still shaking out the cobwebs. It is amazing how when you don't do this stuff every day, my brain's like, I can't remember the numbers. Anyway, for the 23 season, a couple cool updates here. They've swapped over to a tankless on-demand water system. So in a camper like this, a bunkhouse, you might have lots of people taking showers back to back. It is really nice that nobody has to take a cold shower as a result. You see the enclosed underbelly right here. You may have also noticed the new stabilizer jacks that are on these. Now, if you're a regular viewer, they're not exactly news to you, but not everybody who watches these is a regular viewer. If it's your first time, as compared to conventional scissor jacks, what you're looking at right there is the quick drop stabilizer. And long story short, it has like a second arm built into it to help lock the RV from body rolling around as people move around. So whether it's you just walking around the RV or late at night, if someone's tossing and turning, it'll help isolate that movement and not disturb everybody. And speaking of disturbed, little musical reference for those in the know on that one right there. I didn't want to, it wasn't a great example, obviously. I didn't want to go like full out and overload the microphone here. That is a fun one just to bust out while walking across the showroom one day. Just start grunting like a gorilla. When everyone looks at you, just be like, what? And nonsense aside, although I'm pretty sure that's about 37% of all of my redeeming qualities is just the nonsense here. Talk a couple quick construction points. So a lot of stick and tin campers have a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor decking, and this has that, certainly. Really, overall, where they nudge the construction up on this is the roof. So you might have noticed how this actually has a factory supplied ladder. You don't have to go get a separate telescopic ladder to get up to the roof. You can actually get it right from the factory this way. But they have plywood roof decking instead of OSB. It holds a little bit more weight. J-Flights have a higher load bearing capacity in their roof structure as compared to anybody else out there. Now the thing is, like there's like OSB roof decking doesn't mean that the RV wouldn't have a walkable roof, but if you camp where there or you just live when it's stored in crazy snow country, the extra roof construction is just kind of a nice peace of mind thing. It can just hold up to a little more stress. And we don't have a solar package on this one today. We saw where the sticker was in the bedroom, but you can get some factory solar options on this beginning at 200 watts with a 30 amp controller, which would allow you a little bit of expansion. Now keep in mind, we're looking at this Midwestern, Eastern built model kind of today. Out west, like our Idaho stores, some other stores out in that area, they will most likely have a lot of solar in stock all the time. But that's why I leave you a link in the description. You can always see each individual RV that we have in stock, where it's located, and what each individual RV is running with its own individual equipment package. One click away, whether you're curious or whether you're serious. So like I said, I'd be kind of curious to know, what do you think, like, should they open up the idea of a Murphy bed on this one? What do you think of the idea of a sofa dinofa situation instead of just the dinette? You know, it's a simple, straightforward family camper, but does it have to be only that is kind of the question that I have about it. But that's just kind of my 2 cents. I'd love to hear from you folks. Now, to check for pricing and availability, I'll leave you a link in the video description. Also, if you'd like to see something a little bit bigger, they make a big brother of this called a 264, which will add a dedicated sofa in front of the bed and somewhat privatize the bedroom. If you want something with a slide, if you want a little bit smaller, we got up, down, and in between, whatever you need. Chances are, if it's on wheels, we have it at Bish's RV. So when you're ready, folks, we're ready. Thank you again for helping me shake the cobwebs loose today. Let me know how I did in the comments section. Always good to hear from you folks. I appreciate you very, very much. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.